Hi, my name is John.
I'm Reina.
I'm Vincent.
And we're going to talk to you guys about Factor V Leiden.
I'm going to talk about the overview of a Factor V Leiden and what causes it.
I'll go in depth about the genetic causes and also the physiological mechanisms of the disease.
And I'm going to talk to you guys about the symptoms of Factor V Leiden and the treatments to alleviate the condition.
Factor V Leiden is a genetic disorder that causes an abnormal blood clot due to a mutation in the Factor V gene, also known as F5 gene. It is the most common inherited form of thrombophilia among the ethnic Europeans. The mutation in the genes causes a replacement of a single amino acid of a Factor V protein, which changes its function. The Factor V normally involves in a series of chemical reactions that leads to a clot formation during blood loss. The disorder was named after the Dutch city Leiden. It is the place where it was first identified. Most people never develop symptoms until the first thrombotic event.
In normal humans, Factor V is broken up by anti-clotting proteins. However, in people with Factor V Leiden, Factor V is able to stay in the blood longer because activated Factor V is resistant to degradation by the anti-clotting protein known as activated protein C. This subsequently results in hypercoagulability. The gene for Factor V, known as F5, is located on the first chromosome. This disease is an autosomal dominant genetic disease, and people with Factor V Leiden either inherited one copy, they would be heterozygous, or two copies, they would be homozygous, of the defective version of the encoding gene F5. Being heterozygous for this gene means an increased risk in developing abnormal blood clots, while being homozygous involves an even further increase in the tendency of developing abnormal blood clots. Factor Va is a cofactor whose role is essential in the coagulation process because it is a necessary component that will enable factor Xa in the prothrombinase complex to convert prothrombin to thrombin. The role of the aforementioned anti-clotting protein known as activated protein C is to regulate the functionality of the prothrombinase complex via proteolysis of specific residues of factor Va, namely the amino acid residues arginine 506, arginine 306, and arginine 679. Factor V Leiden arises from a nucleotide substitution that occurs at nucleotide 1691, in which a guanine is substituted for an adenine. This results in a single amino acid replacement in which arginine is replaced by glutamine at the 506 residue at one of the three cleavage sites in the molecule factor Va. The overall outcome is an increased resistance of factor Va to the regulatory effects of activated protein C.
There are multiple symptoms for Factor V Leiden. The first indication of this disease is the development of blood clots. One type of clotting is known as deep vein thrombosis, which involves swelling and pain in your legs, ankles, and feet. You can also develop clots on the surface of your skin, and those symptoms include warmth, redness, and pain in and around the veins where the clotting is occurring. Another type of clotting occurs in the lungs, and those symptoms include shortness of breath and chest pain. Although Factor V Leiden can't be cured, there are some treatments to alleviate the symptoms of the condition. People with this disease are typically prescribed with blood thinners such as heparin and warfarin. Heparin works quicker than warfarin, and it can be injected directly into the vein or under the skin. Warfarin comes in a pill form, so it's easier to take than heparin.